What time you start to study? 4 a.m. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Assalamualaikum and hi. A few while ago, I asked you guys to ask me questions on my Instagram and YouTube relating to SPM, and the response that I received were really amazing. I got over 100 questions, and I just want to thank you guys for your amazing response. The questions that I received revolves around a certain theme, so I will be categorizing them into. However, due to the sparsity of time for this video, I can only be answering categories from. I also recently started out my TikTok where I will be posting more educational SPM videos more frequently, and I will also be answering questions that are not being answered in this video on my TikTok, so follow my TikTok. As per usual, I, Cikgu Faiz, will be assigning you homework, and the first homework is none other than subscribe, like and share this video. The second homework is comment down below what's your favorite color. Mine is, without a doubt, pink. I'll stop beating around the bushes, and now let's cut to the chase.
Counting the grains of sand upon the beach. Somehow that number is always out of reach.
So I got my questions over here, and let's get started. The first question is, I got a so-so result for my trial. Do you think if I struggle harder than before in these 2 months and a half, I still can get straight A? So this is a very frequently asked questions that I receive. It basically translates to, sempat lagi ke nak belajar? Okay? And I think you guys know what my answer to this question is. It's definitely yes, okay, you still have the time. I'll just give you guys a very concrete proof from my experience what I mean by every second matters and you still have time. Basically, I'm the type of student that will still study during the day of the exam, right? I will study to the extent where before I was being called to enter the exam hall, I will be holding a book and read as much as possible, study as much as possible. I will not be talking to my friends whatsoever. What happened was during my real SPM, the content that I studied a few minutes and a few seconds before I entered the exam hall, those are the contents that are being asked in the exam. So it clearly shows that there is still time. Even a few minutes managed to help me. Hai, nak tanya, SPM less than 2 months kan sekarang. Kalau ada lagi tajuk yang kita tak cover lagi, is it better kita belajar balik topik tu or kita just buat past year or trial questions? Okay, so for me last time, 2 months before SPM, I would have already finished all of my syllabus. With that being said, I would have already been exposed to every chapters and every concepts. However, my understanding towards every concepts and chapters is not equal. Some I understand better, some I understand less. So I think here is where past year paper and exercises comes in. It is to strengthen my understanding towards those content. However, if you have zero knowledge about the certain topic, I think it's best for you to learn the topic first. Only then you proceed to do your past year questions. Since like time is very limited, you really have to change your learning method. It's no longer learning through the formal way of reading books. I think it's now more towards learning through doing more exercises and past year questions. Do I need to focus on my weak subject or my A target subject? My advice is to not neglect any subject and try to find a balance in all of your subjects, but this balance does not have to be in equal proportion because you're definitely better at some and worse at some. It really depends on what you're aiming for your weak subject. Are you aiming just for credit or to get an A? Because at the end of the day, your result corresponds to the effort that you put in. The more effort that you put in, the better result that you will get. Is it okay for me to just memorize the answer scheme for sejarah or should I understand it better? I think this does not only apply to sejarah, this applies to every subject, and that is you must first really understand the concepts. Because if you don't really understand the concept, for one, you will find it really hard to memorize, and secondly, you don't even know how to apply what you memorized during the exam, so it's sort of pointless. So my advice is just understand the concept first, then only you try to memorize through the answer scheme. Pernah tak stay up sampai pagi untuk study? Okay, I'll just let Megan Trainer to answer this. Time study dengar lagu ke? So let's welcome Megan Trainer again. Do you analyze past year questions? Okay, so this is a very interesting question and the answer is yes. I will give one example for pendidikan Islam. There's this part in Pendidikan Islam that's about tokoh. What I did was I checked back on my past year papers and checked what tokoh came out the previous year, and I sort of predict what's going to come out for my own year, and I predicted it correctly. So yeah, I do analyze my past year papers. Macam mana nak khatam baca buku sukses untuk chemistry and physics kalau satu chapter tu nak fahamkan ambil masa 2-3 hari juga. So this is a very common situation. It is completely fine if you find something very hard to understand, because I for one struggle a lot during SPM. That is why I really encourage everyone to start early so you have sufficient time to read through everything thoroughly. But if you can't start early, start now. There is actually no shortcut for this. You can't really expect to understand a certain topic in a short time. It takes time. If you find yourself struggling, always reach out. Ask your teachers, ask your friends, or just use YouTube. YouTube is a very great source for you to learn. What time you start to study? 4 a.m? I think a lot of us are highly influenced by all of this productivity and study guru that we see on the internet. They always show themselves waking up at 3, 4, 5 a.m. and being very productive. There's definitely scientific evidence that studying at a certain time sort of stimulates our brain in a certain way. However, there's definitely no one absolute definite studying time period that suits everyone. For me, I usually study at around 7:30 to 8 a.m. after like my subuh prayer and everything. How to find which reference book is for you? Okay, so I don't think there's like a certain rule like which kind of book suits a certain kind of people, but the reference book that I use throughout my SPM and I highly suggest is none other than Oxford's Fajar Success Book. I use this Oxford's Fajar Success Book for all of my subjects except for Sejarah. For Sejarah, I use my textbook.
Counting the grains of sand upon the beach. Somehow that number is always out of reach.
I struggle with finishing essays on time in both English and Malay during exam. Could you share some ways to tackle this? Sure, I'll definitely share my way. So I think the way and the very basic solution for this problem is to do lots of early preparation and practice. By this I mean, before the exam, I will actually have already sort of prepared, memorized certain vocabs, phrases and storylines that I will be using for my essay and karangan. Karangan. Speaking jadi karangan bukan karangan. If you want to know what are the phrases and vocabs that I memorized, I've actually made videos about it. I will also practice writing the essay and karangan in its full form and time myself accordingly, so this will help me with my time management. And remember to just write very fast. Yeah, you have to write very fast. There's no time for you to stall and think. Yeah, you have to write fast. How did you get high marks for English essay for each section? Do you write the essays long? The requirement might change, so please refer back to your teachers. But during my time, yes, I actually write my essays very long. Because I think writing very long definitely gives a very good first impression to the examiner. For karangan, it's usually 1 page per paragraph. So it will be like 7 paragraphs, 7 pages in total. For my English, I will always choose story-based essay, and I will write my story as descriptive as possible, sort of like a novel, because this will like show the examiner my full English writing potential. Macam mana kita nak confident masa dalam exam sebab selalu rasa gemetar dan takut masa menjawab kertas exam? I feel you sis. I also feel very nervous every time during exam. What I'll do is very simple stuff. I'll just take some deep breaths. I'll like call my mom before the exam and she will be very supportive. She'll give me a lot of these motivational words and that makes me more confident. I will also be very assertive to myself and motivate myself, thinking that I have spent so much effort in studying for this exam. I do not want to waste it just because of my emotions. I'll also baca zikir and doa, but sometimes you just really can't run away from all of these emotions. It's just biological reaction. But try not to drink a lot of water when you're nervous. I think it's common for us to drink lots of water when we're nervous, but that might lead you to pee during the exam, which is very time consuming. Yeah. That's what I do.
In the grains of sand upon the beach, somehow that number is
That is all
always
from
out
me.
of
Once again, make sure you check out my TikTok. I will definitely answer more of your questions over there. And all the best for your exam. And inshallah, we'll meet again in the next video. Assalamualaikum.